into the arena and what that requires. First question I get, I got this question so much when I first started coaching about a decade ago. Do I need a website for my business? Yes, yes, absolutely yes, for sure, for sure. There's lots of places that you can get the URL, which is the little name www. Mine is damonbrown.net. That's fine. We can talk about that in a future episode. Jump in the comments if you have any questions about that. But we're talking more fundamental. Absolutely, absolutely yes, you do need a website. I remember talking to a potential coaching client when I first started, and they were so excited. They're like, "Hey, Damon, it's good to meet with you. We met at the perfect time. The amount of traffic that's coming, that where people are learning about my business, it's jumped up so much, and it just happened." And I was like, "That's fantastic. Tell me more about your business and what you do. But what's this jump in traffic about?" And they're like, "Yeah, today I crossed over 100 likes on Facebook, and so my website is really popping." And I do play poker sometimes, but I did not have the poker face at the time. And I was like, wait, rewind that back. What do you mean? And they're like, no, you don't understand. On my Facebook page, I crossed 100 likes. And I said, your Facebook page, your Twitter page, whatever, that's not your website. That's not your home. You don't own that. If you go to bringyourworth.tv, I have plenty of episodes that talk about how I left a lot of the social media, how we don't actually own social media, we actually rent it. At any time, the Zuckerbergs or the Musk or whoever of the world can turn that right off. You need a place, just like a brick and mortar spot, that people can come to. Bringyourworth.tv, I own that URL. DamonBrown.net, that's not going anywhere. That's Damon's home. Join Damon.me, my newsletter, which we'll talk about in a little bit. That's mine. No one can take that away from me. You might partner with certain platforms like a YouTube to go ahead and actually send stuff out. But as far as actually having the thing, Facebook or Meta, whatever, can decide, yeah, I don't like what Damon has to say. We're going to turn that off. That also means that whatever business you're making, just like you wouldn't go and build your brick and mortar, your corner shop on quicksand or in the Everglades in the swamp, because that stuff's going to sink. It's not stable. So, do you need a website? Absolutely. 5,000%. Non negotiable. I think we get confused sometimes because there's so many different platforms or different ways to get our message out that we mistake that. And frankly, it's a lot easier. You don't need to hire a designer. You don't have to go ahead and tell people to come to your website. They can just find you on whatever search engine that platform, such as a Twitter or a Facebook might be using, or a Snapchat. That's that direction you want to go. And and I've had whole episodes about this, so I'll keep this brief. I know people who have multi-million dollar businesses looking in the eye right now, multi-million dollar businesses. And the main way they get their business is through DMs on an Instagram or people reaching out on a WhatsApp. So those days when Instagram was down, those days when WhatsApp had an issue, those times when Twitter went a totally different direction and maybe people weren't rocking with it as much, who knows what happened to their businesses? I don't want you to be in that position. So that first step as far as starting a business, get your website down. Get the URL. I'll give some recommendations if you need them, or I'll go and do a future episode about it. And then get your website together. Get your website together because you need a home. And without a home, then yeah, apartments are fine, but you're not your own landlord. And that's not exactly the place you want to be when you're starting off. Do the investment now. My first personal favorite place to run my website is a place called Strikingly. I'll go ahead and pop it up in a second. I've been working with them for, man, how long? I don't even know how long. But as I say, make a website in minutes, trusted by millions of entrepreneurs and creatives, including me. It's me. I'm the person. And you see some examples like here. And so they also do domains names as well. I like Strikingly for a number of different reasons. Number one, it's WYSIWYG, which for my generation, old school, more Generation X, that stands for what you see is what you get. This goes back to the late 70s, all through the 80s, back when I was learning about technology. What you see is what you get means that it's very much plug and play. You can move things around and set things up fairly easily. That's one. Number two, it does not require a web designer. And shout out to my former web designers. I had a longtime web designer. I see you, Andy, and they decided to move on and they're doing something different. That's what kind of put me back on my heel. And I was like, I was happy for them. And I love that they moved on to their next thing career wise. But it put me in a position where I'm like, do I want to hire another web designer? In this research, I ended up finding Strikingly, which was fantastic. So it allows you to move things around that are most importantly for me multimedia. So things that were not static. So I have a lot of journalism friends, as I mentioned, my background is journalism, and it's like, all right, I want to have all my newspaper or magazine articles on there, or on my blogs. Great, easy. Then I'm connected to Heroic Public Speaking. Shout out to the folks at Heroic. So I'm connected to them. I'm connected to TED. Shout out to Chris Anderson. I'm connected to all these organizations where people are public speakers. In fact, that's some of the people that I coach. And so they're like, I want to put all my talks up there so I can get hired as a speaker or I can have a portfolio. Great. And then you have people like me who are launching apps, have this TV show. I have my books behind me. I've done 27 books. I got my books behind me. I'm doing the speaking over here, and whatever, whatever. And I still have my writing for Playboy and other places. And so having what I would call mixed media, more from the art community, it's really good when it comes to mixed media. When we talk of multimedia, we're often talking about um, we're talking about video and all these things. No, this is more mixed media where there's a few different things that are happening at the same time. And so to give you an example, here is my website over at damonbrown.net. And so that was my time on the TED stage, the second stage of TED many years ago, as you can tell, new baby as well as a much younger Damon. And so, based in Las Vegas, helping non-traditional entrepreneurs bloom. You see the links, and then you can grab my audiobooks, et cetera, et cetera. And then my videos are built right into there. So this is called a speaker reel or a sizzle reel. So that's right in there. So if people want to hire me as a speaker, or a consultant, go from there. My quiz over at buildfromnowquiz.com. You can go and take the quiz right here. And then it's a breakdown of me. And then the videos I've done in the past with TEDx Toledo, and ASJ Austin, which was the beginning of Bring Your Worth. The other cool part about this too is that it allows you to actually purchase things through here, which we'll get much deeper into the second episode of this series. And so if you click on here and you have coaching and learning with Damon, then you have my whole coaching process. If you want to work one-on-one with me, the book and the breakdown of that, and then the side hustle box set, the passive writer, shout out to Jeanette Hurt, and you can purchase them right through there. So Strikingly works really, really well for me personally. I love it. If you want to go and check them out, I believe they have some type of discount that's happening. I think it's still going on. Be sure and check them out though. And again, I've been working with them for a good, man, 6 years, 7 years. It's been a while, and I really, really appreciate the work that they're doing and how they're setting things up. Another thing you want to do is is have some type of lead in, if possible, if it makes sense, for the product that you're launching. These are called lead pages, hence me suggesting lead pages. A lead page in general is something that can be short term or long term, depending on the product. So, for instance, I've done online courses in the past. Some of you have taken them. So, let's say I had a new online course. It's like, okay, how to do such and such and such. Great. A lead page, or also called a lead magnet, allows you to build a website or a page that leads people in and gets them interested in whatever you're creating. That allows you to funnel them, as they say in the marketing world, funnel them to the product page. That allows you to have them sign up for a wait list, things of that nature. And essentially, it's the equivalent of they're really popular here in Vegas, but it's the equivalent of having a guy or a gal on the street with a big arrow, like come this way, or getting a billboard, which are also very common here in Vegas. I didn't realize how uncommon billboards were at this point until I moved to Vegas. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like LA. I lived in the Midwest for a little while, and billboards were not as popular. I digress. But having something like that where it encourages that potential customer to come in. Lead pages works really well because their only thing they do is lead pages, unlike some of the other stuff that we have here. Lead pages, I was fortunate enough for them to interview me for their podcast. Shout out to y'all over there a couple years ago. So right there in the link is actually the interview that we had with that we had a while ago, and breaking that down. And then you can also learn more about lead pages at the bottom here. Of course, Bob, shout out to Bob. But if we click on here, then we could also go a little bit deeper into the platform. Converting. That was the word I was looking for. Wednesday feels like Friday to me. Converting people from prospectors to actually getting involved. I actually have a special deal with them only for bringyourworth.tv folks. You can click on the link. But the lead pages allows you to set up something where you have a front page specifically for a product or a podcast, one specific thing, encouraging people to get involved. Again, this has nothing to do with social media. There's nothing to do with putting it on this platform or that platform. You're driving people to buy your product, learn more about your stuff, come to your website. This is an advertisement, a marketing thing for you and your business. And you own it. You own it. Be sure and check out lead pages if you want to learn more about that process. And I think it's really important to take that seriously and to understand, look, no one's going to be advertising or marketing your business for you. If you have a book, you write it, and then you don't tell anybody, then you've created a 60,000 word diary. If you launch an app and you don't say that the app is in the app store, particularly nowadays, I launched my apps almost 12 years ago. In fact, it was 12 years ago. Nowadays, things like lead pages, as well as having a home on the internet like Strikingly, if you're starting your new business right now, at this moment, you gotta start building that proverbial brick and mortar. It begins with having a website. I personally love Strikingly, and again, they have a deal for you. Starting with your website and also having a lead page for the products that you have that you really want to promote right now. If you want to go deeper into the dynamics of getting your product out there, getting things set up, making sure that the nuts and bolts are ready as you move forward, again, the episode that ran recently, get better contracts to protect your intellectual property. When we work too much with social media platforms, when we give away our power and we expect things to naturally rise to the top because we've done a good product or good service or we have a good business or we look or actually are trustworthy, then there's a lot of gaps that can happen within the beginning of your business. If you're starting your business right now with me at this moment, you got to make sure you understand the ins and outs of the property, intellectual property, as well as the contracts that you're signing. The platforms I'm recommending today, as far as Strikingly, as well as lead pages, cool. They're cool people. You can trust that. As you go further along and you bring in more partners to build your business, you need to make sure that the brass tacks are covered. So I would love to hear from y'all. Are you just building a website? Have you had a website for a while? Have you been relying more on social media platforms than you're comfortable with? Or are you fine having your business strictly on social media platforms and then just seeing where things go from there. Let me know in the comments and let me know what questions. I've done both. That's why, that's why I can speak from experience. So I highly, highly recommend um, thinking about some of the stuff we talked about today, and what are the questions that you have in regards to social media, in regards to having a website, and why a website is required. I would love to get your thoughts. Even if you have an argument where you're not sure if a website makes sense for you, let me know. I'd love to hear. Entrepreneur coach Damon Brown, here to help you as a side hustler, solopreneur, otherwise non-traditional entrepreneur. You're watching Bring Your Worth TV live Wednesdays, 1:11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Vegas time. You can subscribe for free on any of the major platforms. YouTube is the main platform right now, but I'm on multiple platforms. Be sure and check it out. And this is episode 422. 22? 22. There's lots of good content on there. We're approaching 5 years of this show. If I haven't said it before, I will say it right now. I appreciate y'all, and thank you for riding with me and allowing me to be with you on your journey. Today we're talking about the beginning of starting your business. This is the first episode of four. Finally starting your business. It's time, and it's part of a four-part series. Start your business now. It'll be all through this month. You can go ahead and subscribe or click on the link below. You'll see the whole series, Wednesdays live. You can click on any of the videos, you'll get a notification about what's up.